So in this video what we're going to be looking at is song mode and chains. So let's say we've got our sequence together. So during the break from the last video to this video I created my sequence. So I've basically got 8 different patterns. I've got 7 different patterns, but this 8th pattern I've just left in there just for idea's sake. Got 7 usable patterns that I can use, so I've labelled them up as intro, verse 1, breakdown 1, chorus 1, breakdown 2, chorus 2, and then the outro. You don't really need to label them up as this, just as long as you know what they are. You could label them up as 1 to 7 if you wanted to, just so that you know what pattern goes where. And during that time what I've done as well is I have decided what pattern goes well with another pattern. I've gone to play pattern 1 twice, pattern 2 twice, pattern 3 twice, and then goes up to 6. Play that twice, come back down to 5 twice, 4 I'm going to play twice, and then I'm going to play number 6 once again, and then the outro is going to play twice, with me sort of using the delay effect to end the song. So we want to program that in, and we can do that. We can do that either 2 ways. We can create a chain, or we can create a chain within the song mode. So first of all I'll show you the chain mode and how we do that without going into the song mode. So chains, what we do with chains and how to chain together a sequence. What we do is we just hold down the pattern button, and then whilst let's say we want this to be as intro, so we click on this button, and because I want this to go twice, there's not an actual way of doing this chain for the second time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this once. I don't think there is anyway, but from this chain I'm going to hold down the pattern button, and then I'm going to sequence in the remaining of the chain. So I wanted number 2 to be twice, and you can see on the top there now we have the bank number, which is A, and then the pattern number. So I've programmed in 2 for twice, and then I want to add 3 to it twice, and then I want to jump over to 6, add that in twice, back down to 5 twice, back down to 4 twice, and then 6, and then 7 twice. And then with that now I have created a chain that will just play on a loop basically until I press stop. So if we just hear the first 2 bars or 4 bars, let's say. So as you can see, it's automating that chain that I've programmed it to do. This is good, but we can learn to control it better within the song mode itself. So to access the song mode, what we do is we press on this import and export button. That'll bring up a menu saying song mode off at the moment. You can switch to song mode by pressing yes, or we can go into the menu or load a song. I'm just going to click yes to go into the song mode. So the song mode is now on, and we get out the message at the top, S01, that meaning song 01, and it's basically telling us it's empty because we haven't inputted any information yet. So I'm just going to press on this button again, and then I'm going to go to edit. Now this brings us up to a new table, and what this table is basically telling us, it wants us to input the pattern information that we want to be played for our song. So we have 2 functions down here. We can basically insert a row ourselves by pressing the function button and then down, and then what that will do is add a row for us, and then we can keep adding that row by pressing down. We can delete a row by pressing the function and up button, and then to change what is on the actual row itself, we can use these arrows up and down, left and right, to toggle between what is within the song mode, and we can use the encoder then to choose what it is that we want to assign to that particular pattern within the song mode. So for example, I know now I'm on row 1, which is going to be the first part of the song, and that I want to label it up as intro, or we could name it up as the pattern name. So the pattern name is basically what we've named it within the pattern, so it is intro, but I'm just going to label that up as, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. We can go across, this is the pattern number, so this is where we assign what pattern we want to be added to that specific row. So we can go from, so this is the intro basically, but as you can see as I scroll through them, it's changing the label because of the pattern name that we gave it in the previous videos. So we know that A2 is the verse 1, breakdown chorus, breakdown 2, chorus 2, and then the outro, and then the number 8 is just unused. So the pattern number 1 is, that's what I want of my intro, and then from that I want that to be played twice. So this next row means that how many times you want that pattern to be repeated. So this can be a number between 1 and 32, so you can play that pattern 32 times before it goes onto another pattern. So I'm just going to leave that as 2. If we go over to our next one, this is the row length. Now, having this set to 1 and this set to 64 is the same thing. So if I wanted this pattern to be repeated twice, I could move that up to obviously 2 because it's repeating itself twice, or I could go across to this and then put this 64 times 2 is 128, or I could go like that with it, and then that would repeat the bar twice. But I'm just going to leave that back at 64 for now. The other thing that I would say about this is this number here. This is what denotes the pattern that it goes in. So it goes in sequence. It basically starts from the top and then goes down. You can have up to, yeah, it's 99 patterns you can have with all this. So you can have 99 steps within a song, which is a lengthy song, but really good if you have like short little bits of like a break maybe, or whatever, you've got like effects going on or whatever. So with this number as well, it ranges from 2 and it goes all the way up to 1024. So you see the K, that means 1000, and then if we go back to, that's 1000, and then it goes to 99. So you can get some lengthy stuff out of this. So that is the row length. This one is the tempo of the pattern, so you can change that from here if you wanted to, or you could keep it at the same. All it does is it's just extracting that data that you've taken out from the pattern and it's bringing it into this. And then this one allows you to mute certain tracks within the pattern. So if I click on yes to activate that, I can then say, right, I want number 1 to be muted, 2 to be muted, etc. I'm just going to keep them all as they are because each pattern that I've done is how I want it to be within the song mode. So that is just a short overview of that. Also on top, what I will say as well is we have the number, and then we have the name of the song, and then we have the song pointer. This shows where you are in your song, so it works in bars. So if I played this, you'll see that it starts counting up to the tempo that it is given on the actual pattern itself. So we can change the label of the song by going back onto the song mode itself and then clicking up to the menu. We can then rename the song, so S01, let's just put this as, let's just put it as Cruise. So the song is renamed. I can save, I can clear the song, I can load the song, or I can save to project. So I'm just going to come out of that now and go back into the song mode and edit, and you'll see that up at the top it is renamed as Cruise. So I'm just going to delete these this sequence, and what I'm going to do now is import that information from the chain that we did previously. So to import the chain, all we do is click on yes, and there's two options it gives us. It says you can create rows from current chain, which is what we did previously. So if I click on yes, all it'll do is add in all that information, then that pattern that I chose. So basically having A2 on twice, A3 on twice, A6 on twice, and then it adds it that way. Or if I delete all, if I go up and delete all this, I can then press yes, and then I can create from new train. So if I click on that now, it basically brings up our patterns within that bank. And what I can do is then I can say, right, so I want A1 to be on twice, and then A2 to be on twice, A3 twice, then it jumps up to A6, and then A5 twice, A4, once on 6 again, and then that's number 7. And then that is basically my song. I can then obviously just go down and put in the pattern names for this. So now you can see in the label that it's all been labelled up to what the pattern name is. And from this we could say if we wanted the intro on twice, so if I wanted to delete that row, for example, I could basically tell this, instead of having 2 verses on there, I could say I want that to be repeated twice, and then I could start to really chop this down into a more sort of manageable sequence. So I'll just push that on twice. So there's a lot of flexibility within it. You can do it in your chains because you can see what's going on. But I'll just show you now what it's like when we play it. So when I press play, you'll see the song pointer, that'll start to count up, and you'll see, you'll basically see it start to count up. So the intro will play twice. So this is getting at the end of the first bar. Then it goes back, and then it jumps to a verse. You'll notice that on the first time round on the intro, my drums wasn't playing. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my last video, but I'll just quickly show you how I did that. So if I click on my pattern and then just click on basically number 1, which is my intro mode, it's turned off song mode now because we're back in as sort of editing sort of thing. If I click on copy, this takes us into the step sequencer, and you'll notice if I go to my last bar, you'll see these are flashing. So with what I did with this is I basically added some conditions. So the conditions are on the second time round, this is when I want it to play. So you've got 2-2, so because it played twice, that is what your condition is. So for example, 2-2 meaning over 2 bars. The one on the right means 2, that means over 2 bars. And then on the first number, it means on the second time it's running through, it'll play on them 2. And then these 2 are exactly the same, and that's how you get that little fill after the second time it comes round. So if I just go back into my song mode, you'll see here, if I just start playing it again, and if you notice on this now, it's going through, but it's not triggering them triggers. But on this next time round, it will do. And then we're on pattern 2. So you can get some nice effects using trigger parameters and things like that. If I just turn this off for now, I know there was one part where it did. So I think it was this pattern, yeah. So I did it with the bass. So one thing I didn't mention in my step sequence video as well was the automation. So the automation, basically, if we go into the unit itself, you'll see yellow symbols. This means that it's got, and you'll see it flashing. So this means that the trigger is being triggered from there. So the sample is being triggered from that point. And also with it being yellow, it means that automation to a certain parameter is happening. Now we can record this automation in. So if we press and hold copy and then play, what that will do is it'll be in record mode, so we can, as the sequence is playing, we can move a parameter, and then that's how we record automation into that pattern. So with this, you can see that the automation has been sort of moved, and because it's yellow on the step sequencer, you know that's automation. Whereas if it was just like this, for example, and I did that, it would just be red. So I know that with it being yellow, there's some automation there. So if I just play this sample, you'll hear the bass. And that's a good way to add a bit of variety to your sounds. But in a nutshell, really, that is what song mode is. It allows you to create a sequence of the patterns that you've created, and it allows you to basically take this to wherever you want, to load up a song if you had drum patterns on here or whatever it is that you've got on here, and then you can just basically press play. You've programmed everything prior to you getting there. And then you can also play about with some stuff, and you can play about with some effects. For example, if I just go on to number 7, this outro. So you could end a song like that, and then just set it back to what the parameters are. So that's basically song mode in a nutshell. If there's any questions, then just put them in the comments below, and I look forward to hearing them. I look forward to seeing what you think of the Digitakt. How do you use it? I love to learn from others how they use it, to see if I can use how you use it in my productions. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video, and like I say, in the next one we're going to be exporting all these tracks individually into our DAW, so we can just do some final tweaks and then get this track released. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.